Hi, I'm Wesley.
Hi, I'm Ramon.
So I've got something nice to show you today. Do you work with Bicep?
Yeah, I often do actually.
Do you use modules?
More than ever.
Do you always hate the parameter setup?
Yeah, well, yeah, those long lists, it takes me back to the ARM days.
So I want you to walk through a bit of different types of parameter setups, like lists, objects, and in the end user-defined types, which is really cool. It
Sounds good.
is in preview, so make sure you maybe shouldn't use it in production yet, but keep an eye out because it's awesome.
Sounds good.
For now, I've got a few templates, which are modules. I'm using VNets just because it's really easy to loop through subnet deployments and that kind of stuff. So it's a good example for now. So first template, I've got is a relatively simple VNet resource, which is just the VNet itself, which has an address space, it has a subnet, and it has a delegation to a specific service. It's not defined which service it is. There is something like a location, which is for now static, and there is a parameter in the top just to make sure the warnings are not there. For now, this is fine. It's not the topic of the video, so let's get into the parameters, because there is a list of, at the moment, 6 parameters, which is quite a lot. But we can use this module in a deploy file. So for now, I'm gonna reference it and show what the problem is. So I'm not gonna bother with typing it because we all know how it looks.
That's why copy-paste was invented.
It's perfect. So for now, the first module, we have the simple one, parameters in a full list, which is now 6 times filled in with value. No IntelliSense, no stuff, which is quite annoying because we have location, but location is a string. We have VNet name, which is a string. We have lots of things which is a string. And yeah, what should I fill in?
Yeah, good question.
It's also not really extendable. If I want another subnet, then I should, copy-paste the subnet specific parameters.
Or switch to arrays or some sort.
Yeah, it's annoying. I want to structure it a bit more. So, yeah, it's working. But if I want to go ahead and do something extra, I'm gonna run into a couple of problems. So, this is not a really good solution. So I've got the second one, which is an object type. And object is pretty much like objects in C#, anonymous types. You can fill something in. You don't really know what's in there. So you need to make sure that what you fill in is there through the parameter. And it's quite annoying because we can't really make sure it's there. We just have to trust the person who is calling it or the template. And yeah.
But does IntelliSense work with it?
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we pretty much have to open the module and see what's in there, and it's not working. So I can fill this one in as well, and also not really that relevant. So copy-paste is key. So I'm gonna get this template and put it in here. And this should work.
Yeah.
And it looks fine. I mean, we can put different kinds of subnets in here. I've also have an app service plan over here because I want to add my app service to it, and it needs to be delegated to that service, which is fine. So we solved already one problem, though we have another one, IntelliSense. We still don't know what to fill in. It's a string. Actually, you don't even know if it's a string because it's an object. So we have a value over here, and that's it. We don't know what needs to be implemented in there. So,
just a quick question. So if you have your Bicep templates and before you run them, right, you can validate them with a tool like ACLI. Does it validate that the object is complete, or does it also skip over that?
No, it skips. It will probably fill at the moment when you deploy it. So it's too late. We don't know if it's working, so you should set up something like a test environment deployment or a scrappy one, which you can just remove after deployment, which is quite annoying.
Yeah, so no real way of debugging it either.
No, there isn't. So this is not going to work either, though if you use it, it's somewhat more handy than the previous solution, just because it's more extendable, but it's the current way we should use it. But if you want to make sure that you have some sort of, in this case, metadata to show what object you need to fill, what properties there are, you can just set it up like this, just to show what you can do with it, what is available, but still nothing like requirements or something or IntelliSense. Then we have the last one, which is user-defined types. It's basically defining a type for, yourself. It is completely custom. And before you can use it, because it's in preview, you need to enable it. So in a previous video, it was already mentioned, the Bicep config. You have some settings in there, and also experimental features, which you can enable. In this case, the user-defined types. And what you can do in my third module, there is a couple of types in the top. And there is one parameter, well, actually two, because we have a location, but one in the top, which is VNet settings. And this is completely IntelliSense-wise. It's going to evaluate what the object is. If everything is there, you can make something nullable. So we're going to walk through the object for now, which has some properties. It has a name with a type string. You can use stuff like metadata, still descriptions, that kind of stuff. Awesome. So if you're going to hover the properties, you're going to see the message above it, which is really cool because string doesn't really say what it does. But with the description, you can just add, like, this is a CIDR notation, for example. But yeah, this is a flat object. You want to make different kinds of layers, an object, in an array, in an whatever you want to. So we can just reference another type. And the type is below here. And that one also has a reference to service endpoints, which is an object over here. And there's delegations, which is also an object over here. But in this case, it's an array, and you don't have to fill it. So the IntelliSense notices it, and it basically says, all right, it's fine. We don't have to use or have to fill it in. And it helps a lot if you want to make your modules extendable, have optional parameters and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can definitely see this very helpful if you're like having shared modules between teams and one team is creating them, maintaining them, hosting them online, and everybody's using them. Yeah. And your own biceps are their own documentation.
I think so. No need to write different kinds of documentation next to it, which is annoying to maintain. I think it's perfect. So yeah, it's nice to look at. Maybe it's a bit more than what it was, which is annoying, but this is not what we are looking for. We're looking for the party which is using the module. And in this case, I'm not going to write the whole or copy paste it. So we're going to remove it because we do have IntelliSense, and we have IntelliSense because there's an extension in VS Code, which is for Bicep, which also recognizes the preview feature, which is really cool. And it basically just comes with a couple of options which you can like fill in, properties which are there and that kind of stuff. So that's really cool. For now I'm going to reference the file name, which is Bicep. It's going to be module 3. Also, just to make it tidy. And we're going to autofill all the settings which are there. This is nothing really new because it's the parameters which are available. So we have location, which is just location. But we also have VNet settings. And now the magic is going to happen. It suggests it's probably a property. It's, you can't really tell it should be a property right now. But if we're going to add it and we're going to do the autofill, it's going to suggest 3 types of properties. Name, subnets, and address prefix. And the address prefix, we can just fill it in. But what is the address prefix in this case? Well, it's an address range in CIDR notation. So that's really cool. So we're going to say 10.0.0.0.16. So that should be fine. Well, next one, we have a name. Well, give it a name. It's going to be Betatalks VNet. And for the next one, subnets. All right. Oh, that's an array. Cool.
Hey, awesome.
And so we've got different kinds of options. Well, it's an array, so that's going to be an object probably. All right. Then we have address prefix. Nice. Delegations. Nice. So it's giving you the options as you go, which is for the consumer party. Yeah, it's cool.
It's basically if you're using like an actual, the actual template that Microsoft delivers, but now you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a cool feature which they are trying to develop still. It's a sort of type of like C#, which you can like loop or go through the types of Microsoft. Mm-hmm. So you can, for instance, just add a parameter which uses a type Microsoft has available.
Well, that's awesome.
It's still not there, but they're working on it, and it's really cool. So you don't have to write your own types for specific things like a subnet. You can just expose it to the outside, and it's fine. I'm not going to completely type it out because it would take way too long. So
I can imagine.
I have a module down here. I'm just going to copy it for now. Here it is. And in the end, this is all it. If you want to add something extra, like a subnet, we can just add it over here. Same story as objects, only we do have the IntelliSense, which helps us quite a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, that's it. It's just basically it. It's still preview, so there are a couple of features which are still not developed, like the type of, but they are working on it, and it's going to be really cool. Like types in a separate module, for example, and referencing it. Mm-hmm. So we saw that it was in development and coming maybe real soon, but who knows? Maybe it's already out. We don't know.
You can always follow their GitHub as well and check out the issues, and who knows?
So if you want to work it on yourself, I'm going to make sure the GitHub link is there, so you can download the code and clone it and try out yourself.
Awesome.
That's it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.